Today's show is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering our listeners a free audiobook with a 30-day trial membership. Just go to audibletrial.com/beat and browse the unmatched selection of audio programs. Download a title free and start listening today. Go to audibletrial.com/BEAT. I have no set intro for this movie. I don't know what you would say to intro this episode.
Well, it speaks upon...
God bless you.
When he said that scene, when I watched this earlier today off YouTube, when he said that scene, I was like, no, you ain't gonna do this girl dirty like that.
Nah,
are you?
Nah.
This is Matt Damon we're talking about here.
I mean, yeah, but it's also like post Goodwill, pre Jason Bourne Matt Damon. So he's like he's right in that sweet spot. Is like you don't know which direction he's gonna go. Ben Affleck's just there for the party.
Oh, no doubt about it.
You know, so
he was high out of his mind in this movie.
Absolutely. So what up? Welcome back to Classics, the cinematic movie podcast that takes you back to the iconic films of 20 years ago, right here on the Big Three: iTunes, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. I am your guy, Jay Alonzo. With me, of course, is
Danger.
You like listen, the roll of the R's? The roll of the R's. Oh my God.
Danger Neff. David Danger Neff.
Radio. I'm Enrico.
We're right back in the radio here.
Well, you're of Spanish descent, so we're not really offending anybody by doing this.
Oh no, this is all for the offense at this
point. I'm gonna be Enrique for the rest of the day. What's up?
You are Rico Suave today.
It's really warm outside. Look at this. All right, what's going on? How was the week?
I mean, I was here yesterday, so
you were here yesterday. Shout out to Dave and T Ferris for the re-recording of Fight Club. Fortunately, I couldn't make the episode, but from what I'm told, it was a pretty good show.
I told everybody that you were going to be back. You just got to bear with it. You had to get your nap on, So
I had to sleep. I mean, I really had to sleep.
So last week you were incredibly sick.
I was.
And how are you feeling?
Hold up.
Yeah, that's what we need.
I'm almost there. Yeah. I'm almost there. But I'll tell you, I'm in much better spirits today than I was last week when I was like living in my own personal hell. Like, oh my God. Man, every time I breathe, there's like a hawk that come with it. It's the gross shit ever. But I managed to get through it. Got a lot of sleep, and feeling pretty good. I caught up on some movies.
Yeah, what'd you catch?
I caught Terminator: Dark Fate.
So did I.
I did not like it. I thought it was actually all right.
I enjoyed it.
I mean, but for it to be the best one in the franchise since T2 was not the biggest bar to set. But at the same time, I also feel like Terminator: Dark Fate is at this point now a bit too late.
I think so. Also, the way that I see this movie is that it is a perfect way to conclude the series, or it is a perfect way to just say this is a standalone movie.
At this point, yeah. I mean, let's say hypothetically we never got Genesis, or let's say this came.
Why are you talking about the good old days now?
Why the good old days was like 2 fucking years ago? You know what I'm saying? But let's just say hypothetically we got this after Salvation, so a lot of time has passed between Salvation and Dark Fate. Dark Fate would have a much easier reception had it came. Let's say it came another like a year later than 2019.
The problem with Genesis was literally the writing got terrible right towards the middle of the movie, and I do not like Jay Courtney. I do not like that guy.
He wasn't the problem for me. The fact that like you make John Connor, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, who fucking cares? But the spoiler alert, you made John Connor the bad guy in the trailers. On top of that, so it was like, so I have nothing to look forward to. This movie does play extremely well as far as what you look for in a Terminator movie. But what I liked, but then I kind of got tired of it was the fact that Linda Hamilton is back.
Right.
But she's like this grizzly grandma And it's like, it's cool.
What's wrong with
nothing wrong with that at all. But I get it. Like, you're selling the character. But at the same time, it's like,
you swap her out for Medea, and everybody would love this movie.
Listen, let's not go the Medea route, okay? Give me Halle or some
Tell
shit.
me where's the lie.
Nah. Like, when I tell you, like, she's like, okay, you ever watch a movie where, like, somebody's, like, cussing for, they cuss, but it's like, this fits nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, this fits nowhere. It's like when she says, oh, you're a piece of fucking shit.
Yeah.
Right, but what he said to you prior to that doesn't require him to be a piece of fucking shit. It's more like you just didn't agree with what he said. You know what I'm saying?
You know, that was some of the limitations of the writing.
Yes.
And I didn't really care for the augmented human. There were times that I liked Mackenzie Davis is who plays her.
She's dope. She's great in the movie.
She's cool. But there are times where she's just like being snide to be snide or she scoffs a lot. Like I'm a human. Like it's like okay, dude. Like or girl. You know, I get it.
Hey, listen, bro. I mean, sis.
You know, listen, chief. I get what you're saying. All right. Like you're a human. That's cool. But you cannot tell me that you're doing human things in a normal human way because you just kicked a dude like 30 yards.
I'll say this. I also enjoy the fact that without trying to beat you over the head with it, there is some women empowerment in the movie, which I found pretty dope. Like, they're not trying to really like push that narrative. Like, we're women. We have old, somewhat old, and young women. Let's get some more women. Like, I get it. The way that this movie plays out is more so like it's showing you women empowerment without having to like beat you down with the narrative.
Right, and I'm cool with that. Now I gotta kind of bash the naysayers of this film. Mm-hmm. When they go around and they say like woke culture is broke culture, it's like yo, this movie wasn't anywhere near that level.
No,
like you realize there was an entire TV show where the main character of the Terminator franchise was female.
I miss Sarah Connor Chronicles too. That was a great show.
And nobody cared. Mm-hmm. Everybody just saw it was a great show. Oh yeah, absolutely. Like this. It had a Cersei from Game of Thrones. Like yes. She was the Terminator.
Yes.
She was awesome in it.
I also saw Jojo Rabbit.
All right, let's hear it
real quick. So
are you pro Nazi now?
I'm not pro-Nazi, but I understand. No,
wait, what?
But I get it now. You know?
But now I got a tattoo. Whatever. Don't judge.
Whatever.
Me.
You know, Hitler's the homie. No, I never.
Wow. No. For the record, no, we do not believe that. No. I need to say that now.
I'm making it funny. No, I can tell you this. There was ever a movie that can give you great satire based off of such a sensitive story, you know, as far as the Nazis and the Jews and concentration camps and the Hitler's reign and all that, but tell it from a comedic perspective that makes total sense, that gives you both laughs and tears in an hour and 45 minutes. I bravo to Taika Waititi. It's a fantastic movie. And I also see now that it now makes number one, makes my list of top 10 of the year for sure. Also, it now pushes pushes this movie into now the chances of getting a Best Picture nomination. Mm. And low key, depending on what else we get between now and the end of the year, may actually win that shit. Mm. Honestly.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's interesting because the topic that it's discussing is such a like it's a tough thing. It's like let me ask this because I got to ask a couple questions before I go check this out myself. Mm-hmm. Does it humanize Hitler?
No, it does not.
Okay.
No, it actually pokes blatant fun at the Hitler reign, the concentration camp, the Nazi whole thing. It's literally Hitler's reign through the eyes of a 10-year-old boy who at one point had admired Hitler and wanted to be a part of this army. Matter of fact, he admired him so much, his imaginary friend is Hitler. Played by Taika Waititi. And it shows him how a fucking buffoon he actually was in regards to how things he believed in made zero fucking sense. As far as the burning of the books because, you know, reading was meant to poison us and yada, yada, yada. Like, it really does give you a perspective on children who kind of gain this sense of admiring this particular figure and without realizing the things that you want to admire are fucked up, horrible, but you're a child. So you have to go through these things to really realize what you are trying to, be a part of. You want to be part of this club so bad, but realize this club is bullshit. And it takes your experiences to really, realize that. And the movie, there's no shift in, it's really, really funny, then it's getting really serious. Like when it shifts from the comedy to the hard drama, I mean, it's seamless. And then once you get past that drama, it picks back up with more comedy and then leaves you leave the theater feeling good. As far as like the ride that this kid takes up until, what, I don't want to give it away. Fuck. But basically, leading up to what happens to the Hitler reign at that time when things really began to happen, when America got involved. Put it that way.
Jojo Rabbit, the feel-good Nazi story.
It sounds crazy. It sounds odd, but the feel-good Nazi story is basically what you're looking at. Feel-good anti-Nazi story. That's what I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I also caught a movie. I caught Dr. Sleep, the sequel. That was an actual written story, not just like, they're just making a sequel. No, this was written by Stephen King in 2013, continuing the story of Danny Torrance, who plays the son of Jack Torrance in the original Shining. Mm-hmm. And it's stellar. Like, it's incredibly good.
How's McGregor?
Kills it.
Yeah.
Like no doubt. First of all, he has to play an alcoholic throughout the movie at one point. Yeah.
Have you seen The Shining?
If I'm seeing shit also, I'm drinking.
Oh, yeah.
At like the age of 8. And I ain't stopping until I'm 40.
I see those two girls again like, so what's up? We partying or what?
Right.
What's the word?
We popping bottles up in
what
this
we doing? Y'all gonna sit there staring at me all the whole fucking time. What we doing?
The movie does a really good job of not having jump scares. Because that's the one thing that drives me nuts about horror movies. Like,
it's more like a psychological thing.
Yeah, it's very psychological, and they have no problem like showing the perspective of the villains in this movie, because there's a lot of concentrated effort when it comes to that, and because of that, it kind of throws you off because it's not necessarily that you don't know who to root for, but you could kind of see the appeal of where the villains are coming from. The climax of the movie, I will go ahead and just say this: it absolutely takes place in the actual hotel itself. There's a really, really strong moment, CGI included, as they take, I don't know who the actor was, but where Danny has a conversation with Jack, and it's good.
Is Jack in this?
It's Jack Torrance or Jack Nicholson.
Is he in it? Is he here?
No, not in a traditional sense.
Okay.
So
not like a de-aging thing. Nothing
like that. I mean, they basically took a very close lookalike actor, but you could definitely tell it's a different actor.
Okay.
And kind of did it that way. Overall, I really enjoyed it. I definitely said it did not gross nearly as well as they want. But it's something. It's gonna have wheels on it. Like
I realized it was knocked off by Midway, which I didn't expect that to happen at all. But Roland Emmerich's last movie was Independence Day 2.
So my father checked out Midway and he said it was really good. Mm-hmm. My father's biased because he's a veteran of the military.
Happy Veterans Day!
For those who served. Yeah. And he said it's just a great movie, in general. But he's one of those guys that he knows the story of the three most important figures of Midway, and he devours that kind of stuff. My sister also saw Last Christmas, and
no interest whatsoever.
Well, she said this. She goes, it's very good. It's also very sad with what happened.
Yeah, no interest whatsoever.
Man, what are you talking about, man? You gotta get your romantic.
Listen, man,
Christmas.
I am all down.
Give me that Hallmark Christmas card.
I'm all down for romantic comedies.
Actors with dead eyes trying to tell me that they love me, but they have not smiled at all once in this movie.
So they're lying to me. Think about it for a second.
No, that's a play on my family. They love this Hallmark movie. It's called A Christmas Card, and the entire movie, the girl is fine, right? But the dude that steals the girl away, literally, because she's engaged to this other guy who he's really into his own work, really should just be single, but sees the value of her and whatnot.
Right.
This dude does not smile once in this movie, and There is no emotion in his eyes. And he just so happened to say that he was from Afghanistan. I'm like, this dude's going to kill everybody, like, in this town. No problem. But
why do I want to watch this?
because there is some enjoyable parts to it, but I keep making fun of him because
does it end in mass murder?
No, it doesn't. No? It ends as a Hallmark movie. Huh. You know, women are not good enough, so they need a dead eye, looking white dude, to swoop up and get married and whatnot.
The white savior.
That's what we are. We're white saviors. During the month of October, we're the White Walkers,
See, you just can't escape it.
No, exactly,
So we have some announcements to make. Also happy pre-Disney Plus. Disney Plus drops tomorrow.
Yeah, and there's no app for it.
Zero. You can't find it everywhere.
So you got to actually type in, like, DisneyPlus.com.
And download an app.
And download. No, it's not even an app. Like, you got to watch it off their website.
It's like a oh, yeah.
That's so bad.
That's not a good look. But
that is not how you want to.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm still gonna get Disney Plus. It just sounds too good.
I'm just gonna steal your login.
I'm gonna change it like every week.
That's fine.
Yeah. We have some announcements to make.
Go ahead.
We've been talking about this for quite some time. Both myself and Danger Neff are working on separate projects. By the time this show comes out, you have now heard on my IG, Beat Network's main Facebook page, all the fellas page. I'm on a new show called Turn My Mic Up, debuting on Black Friday, November 29th. Let me go ahead and pull up the synopsis here. One second. We actually dropped that information today. Today's Monday, the 11th?
Today's Monday?
Yep.
Today's only Monday?
Yep. We have 4 days to go. Shit. But yes, Turn My Mic Up is a collective of hip-hop heads from different Las Vegas-based platforms gathered together through their love of hip-hop and the culture as a whole. From in-depth album reviews to long-form discussions about hip-hop's past, present, and future, Turn My Mic Up will deliver unfiltered conversations and build a community on the foundation of this timeless culture we call hip-hop. Hosted by Big Los and Hollywood Kev of The Noise, myself, my boy King Corey of Over the Top LV, and of course RJ Lindsay of Laced Rhymes. I am so juiced for this damn show. I'm hyped. I have no clue what we're going to talk about on this first episode, but look out pretty soon. I believe we're going to have some promo videos coming out where I talk about my top 5 albums, top 5 hip-hop verses, and top 5 rappers.
For some odd reason, you guys just didn't watch it. No, it's cool. No, I'm happy for you, man.
Yes.
Like I know.
We can always use a white guy on Turn My Mic Up. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. Now.
Let me tell you about this Machine Gun Kelly I know.
No. And
what about the original OGs, the Beastie Boys, bruh?
At least Beastie can be in the conversation, but MGK can no. But yeah, so we premiere on Sunday, we premiere November 29th, Black Friday, and every Sunday from there on YouTube, exclusively on YouTube.
Wait. Did you say you premiere November 29th, which is Black
Friday?
Is it?
Yeah, it's Black Friday.
Oh yeah, you're right, because that Sunday is the first.
Yes, right, yeah, and then we will run every Sunday from then on. Video only show exclusively on YouTube. Check out the Beat Network page. That's where the show will be.
Yeah, definitely.
All right,
That's
you got?
Awesome, man. That's awesome. I don't know what do I got. I'm not announcing my show yet.
You're not?
No, not yet.
Well, why the fuck would I say we if I'm only me?
I mean, I got something that's there, but I'm going to announce it next week.
Well, then that would be today's announcements. Then let's keep moving.
Yeah, a lot of fun. And with that being said, let's go ahead and give it a little special shout out to Audible. Today's show is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering our listeners a free audiobook with 30-day trial membership. Just go to audibletrial.com/beat and browse the unmatched selection of audio programs, download it title free, and start listening. It's that easy. Go to audible.com/BEAT to get started. Why Audible? Audible content includes an unmatched selection of audiobooks, original audio shows, news, comedy, and more from the leading audiobook publishers, broadcasters, and entertainers. Jay, what are you listening to lately?
Right now, I am listening to the Rick Ross book. Obviously, Turn My Mic Up. It's been heavy on my mind. So I just began listening to the Rick Ross book. For the life of me, I cannot think of what the hell it's called.
If it's not called Every Day I'm Hustling.
And it should be such a good title.
Right?
Oh my God. Listen, I'm not gonna lie to you, I forgot what it's called. But it's a Rick Ross autobiography book written by Ross and another author as well. Very insightful. And because for some reason turning the page and reading, it just seems prehistoric to me now. So just read it to me. America. So
I'm just imagining like somebody waiting to tuck you in.
Listen.
Okay, Audible.
Everything else I can do. Now. But Audible, read me a good story.
Hey, Alexa, can you read me my latest Audible book?
Jay, you're a grown-ass man. How about you just do grown-ass man things? Yeah.
To download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/beat. Again, that's audibletrial.com/BEAT for your free audiobook.
All right. Very well read, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
I'm ready for my own personal audiobook.
It's called Danger Neff.
Right.
Life in a Fast Lane.
The quick and dirty of Danger Neff.
The quick and dirty. All right. Danger so, cool. Let's get to today's movie. Today's movie is a special one because we putting together this list. We were looking forward to knocking this one out, and even watching the movie last night, I was like, "Oh yeah, I can't wait to talk about this." We are taking it back to 1999 with Dogma. Original release date November 12th of 1999. Shares opening weekend with Anywhere But Here, Felicia's Journey, and The Messenger, the story of Joan of Arc. Not the best weekend of the movies, but it's whatever.
Why do we cover Joan of Arc?
You know what? I simply didn't want to. Production budget $10 million with a box office total of $44 million. Currently sitting at a 67% on Rotten Tomatoes. I find that to be pretty fair.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think it's okay to give it a 67% because any higher, I think you're overplaying the comedy a little bit, but it's definitely not lower than that.
No, I told you before we started to record that this was my introduction to Kevin Smith. Clerks was out, Chasing Amy was out, Mallrats was already out. Like all the Kevin Smith bangers that I didn't pick up on until way later. Were already out, but this movie it just grabbed my attention because one, Chris Rock was in it, and I think at the time I was just a huge Chris Rock fan, and so I went and checked it out. And for this movie to go the route it goes, you know, mind you, as watching it as a kid is like, okay, I'm looking more at like the physical comedy of everything, but as an older adult now, I was like, oh, this gets deep.
Oh, absolutely.
This gets very deep. Deeper than I thought I would actually like go with the Kevin Smith comedy. But
so this was like part of that original like Jesus trilogy that he had, right? And it's very much what he would call view askewism.
Yeah.
Which just basically is just his way of saying viewing it from a very convoluted and different way to look at things. There are some strong messages in this movie. And I have to say this, when it comes to my own personal faith, this movie does a really good job of kind of portraying my own message. I've always considered myself an atheist, and it has nothing to do with God or anything. I always felt like A, there was like not enough good evidence, and B, I felt like everybody was just self-righteous in their own view.
You know what's crazy? Even when you drop the word, like everybody in the room goes,
right? They're like, it's like relax. I'm cool. Like I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm just saying like I need more than what you're presenting.
I have yet to blink.
Can you please blink?
Okay, I mean, listen, man. I think as we get older, we definitely expand our horizons as far as to what people believe in.
Sure.
And everything that people believe in isn't necessarily, if it's not this, it's evil. But really it's, you know, you are entitled to believe whatever it is you choose to believe. Like I tell everybody, I'm not a religious person. No, I'm more spiritual than anything else. You know, I do believe in God. I do believe in a higher power for sure. But at the same time, if you tell me you don't believe in this person, here's the reason why. Who am I to judge, to go against that? You know what I'm saying? Like it's free will. That's why we're put on this earth, to free think and to live freely. So I can't tell you that your sense of what you believe in is wrong. I just can't. And this movie actually proves to really think that way. You know, like you have your own personal relationship with your own personal savior. That's just what it is. So a movie like this, One had me thinking like I can actually go to a Catholic church and I can walk through this little archway and all my sins are forgiven. And then when you look at it,
that's a lie. Sorry.
Which is a lie. But also the way that this movie conveys that idea, it's like, what do you do with that kind of power? Like knowing that I can do whatever I want to do in this lifetime. Whatever I want to do in this lifetime. As long as I pass through this arch, all is forgiven. So people who think that warped way, you got people who will commit murder, who will commit robbery,
no, of course,
treason, adultery, you name it. If I can do it and get completely forgiven about it, oh yeah, sky's the limit. I'm gonna do whatever I want to.
Exactly. And Kevin Smith, who was still pretty young as a director in this case, and because of that, he did have some limitations to this, which is why I can't really rank it higher than 67%. But the writing on this is actually really spot on in terms of like saying, hey, you know what? Like everything is convoluted and everything can be complicated if you put the right variable involved.
Right.
And because of it, you can't judge everything based upon the face value. When this movie really takes off, it actually is going to start with the introduction of Bartleby and Loki, who are played magnificently by Ben Affleck,
dynamic duo,
and Matt Damon.
Well, actually, the movie actually begins with a homeless man we know at the time as John Doe Jersey.
Right.
He's outside of a skee ball, which is funny because now I'm thinking about it, a lot of these opening shots do come together. And you're like, oh, that's what I meant by that.
Right.
So he's outside of this like carnival waiting for someone to show up, and these three like demon skaters kind of show up and just beat the shit out of him.
Right.
That comes into play later on, and then we get the introduction to Bartleby and Loki, and we know Loki is the angel of death.
Was the former angel.
The former angel of death, and I forgot Bartleby's position.
Bartleby was Bartleby was like this other angel that was just kind of there, who convinced Loki to quit his job. Now, this was based upon Bartleby the Scrivener, which is a Milken's story, but it doesn't really play like a major part into it. Obviously with Loki, that's totally completely based off Norse mythology, but again, I don't really think it kind of plays a major part into this. Right. He's not really a trickster. Right. He's the angel of death.
Right. Now what I do find interesting is that they're sitting in the airport and Bartleby gives Loki this paper. Oh, dude, we're completely forgetting the fact that George Carlin is in this movie.
Oh, it's huge. Now, real quick. So, both of these angels were eternally banished to Wisconsin, of all places.
For insubordination.
For insubordination. After basically Loki gets drunk, resigns as the angel of death.
Gives God the finger. Yes.
Right? And they basically get this newspaper article, but before all of that, the Cardinal Ignatius Glick is rededicating his church in Red Bank, New Jersey, in the image of the Buddy Christ. Okay. Which, if you've never seen the Buddy Christ in terms of memes, this is Christ winking, pointing a finger, and having a thumbs up to you, as opposed to retiring the crucifixion instead, because they wanted a more welcoming, a more welcoming view to Catholicism.
Let me go ahead and admit to you right now.
Now, keep in mind, this was before the 2001 allegations of the Boston sex scandal, so that's just hilarious. I'm sorry.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Now, the Buddy Christ, really quickly. It was, to me, it was more than just a meme. I seeked out some sort of a statue with Buddy Christ for a long time, and I know you would. And I happened to come across one at Spencer's. Was literally probably no bigger than this bottle, and it's literally God himself or Jesus himself hitting you with the "What up?" You know what I'm saying? I love that figure.
One hand is like a finger gun, the other one is a thumbs up,
he's winking at you and
smiling.
Like, what's up, man?
like welcome to Catholicism.
Hey, what's up? How you doing? You good? And I love how Carlin plays that up. You know, he's saying like, you know, we're gonna retire this holy, recognizable yet very sad image of our Lord and Savior, and we're gonna flip it to something a bit more upbeat. But look at it, doesn't it pop.
Doesn't it pop to you?
Buddy Christ. Oh, God. Cracks me up.
So while reading the newspaper, because of everything that's going on, with them, to find their way back into heaven, anyone that enters the rededication festivities, I love the Buddy Christ, really do, will receive a plenary indulgence or basically atonement for all of your sins.
Right.
Okay. The banished people, the banished angels would then go. They would die after transmuting to human form, and God would have no choice but to allow them back into heaven. The problem with that is apparently if that was to happen, all of reality, because it's basically going against a word of God or law of God, would basically force reality into nothingness. Like up would be down, everything would just be completely backwards, and then everything would just get banished afterwards.
Right.
So they catch on to this. So they are encouraged by the demon Azrael.
Played by Jason Lee.
Yeah, played by Jason Lee. Mm-hmm. And the Stygian triplets, which is basically like these three hockey players. these three hockey players.
Three hockey players. One happens to be from like Cleveland, Ohio. My cousin knows him, which this is crazy.
Why would your cousin know him?
He's from Cleveland.
Okay.
And I don't know. He's from Cleveland. That's all I can tell you. But I remember Dogma, when Dogma was coming out.
So what you're saying is that devils come from Cleveland.
I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is that the star of this here movie came from Cleveland. But they also like gave him wicked support. Like when the movie came out, he made like the front page of the newspaper and everything.
Man, look at that. The scene then cuts over to Bethany Sloan, who's played by Linda Fiorentino. For those who don't recall quite who she is, have you ever seen the movie Vision Quest?
Jade,
Men in Black 2. She plays a villain.
There's another movie that she's really known for as well.
She's known in what's that TV show? Is it The Practice?
Something like that.
It was something with law. Gotcha. She was in Gotcha as well.
When I see her, I immediately think David Caruso, because they've done just discussing things on camera together.
Gross.
So I think David Caruso and his orange hair.
The Last Seduction.
Seduction.
That's where she's really that was her big role.
So she plays this abortion clinic counselor, which is the craziest thing because
I'm sorry, I said Men in Black 2. I'm wrong. That was Men in Black 1. She was the partner.
No, you're right. She's 2. She plays the bad guy, Selena.
No, she's 1. She plays Laura
You're right.
Weaver.
I'm sorry. I'm
Weaver.
so sorry. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Like I knew I recognized her. So yeah, so Men in Black 1 is probably where you best know her. That doesn't mean she did good in the role.
She's
That's
there,
just
though.
where she's there.
She's there though. So she plays this abortion clinic counselor.
So stop. Think about that for a second. All right. She plays an abortion clinic counselor. So when I talked about earlier in this movie,
who's also Catholic, by the way,
who's also Catholic. So when I talked about earlier in this movie that when you throw different variables into it, you can't really judge the person on the face cover. If I literally introduce this person as an abortion clinic counselor who's also Catholic, where does your brain go? Like thinking about
who's at fault for this?
Who hurt you? And why does this behavior continue?
Well, we had learned that while she was in church that donations are being solicited for a campaign to stop a New Jersey hospital from taking John Doe Jersey, the homeless man that was jumped earlier, off of life support because they can't find the next of kin and nothing like that. And then that cuts to a scene when she's in her bed, she's sleeping. And we get the appearance of the awesome, late, great Alan Rickman as the Metatron.
Hans Gruber himself
as the voice of God. Not God himself, but as the voice of God.
Right, which is absolutely true in Hebrew tradition. Mm-hmm. Metatron was the angel who was the voice of God. Whenever God needed to communicate to the rest of the world, he was the voice.
Right. And I love how they break that part down because he said either when some Yahoo says, I got a message from God, they're either talking to me or they're talking to themselves.
Right.
Right. And that's probably the best way to actually break it down. You know what I'm saying? But
I thought it was funny how he appears because he's just he keeps like chanting and repeating something, and there's an obvious fire in the middle of like her bedroom, and she kind of slips out and grabs like a fire extinguisher and just kind of extinguishes
so he's
the
coughing
fire.
it out, you know?
Like this is angelic fire that
like,
can still get coughed
Jesus,
out.
You have to use the whole
can.
Love it. Now the thing with Alan Rickman is, by the way, perfect casting for that character, but we spend all of 5 minutes or so as he's breaking down why he's there to see her.
Right.
Don't forget, angels are ill-equipped. They were anatomically impaired as a Ken doll, I want to say.
Sure.
So that explains why he just has no penis, which is
yeah.
And they show it to you as well.
By the way, he pulls down his pants. There's no penis there.
There's no penis there.
There's nothing there.
And he keeps it down for quite some time. It's weird. It's an odd scene.
That just kind of sticks with you after a while, as a person.
So they managed to get transported to it's a great joke. She thinks that they're in Mexico. They're actually at a Mexican restaurant down the street from her apartment.
Not even. I think they're in like that family's like kitchen, like down the street from their apartment.
So he's basically he's going over the whole situation, like, as far as like what Bartleby and Loki did pretty much fucked everybody else. They're saying that the fact that Bartleby convinced Loki after a night of drinking to quit, throw down his sword, and quit his job. Now we can no longer indulge alcohol, hence the spitting.
Right. So he's taking like these shots of tequila
and spitting it back into the cup.
He's like savoring the taste in his mouth, and he's spitting it back up without ever consuming it technically.
Right.
Because who the fuck cares, right? Like,
but it kind of shows like this loophole for every fucking thing. Like, trust me, there really is. But he lets her know that you have to stop these two angels from entering this church. If they are able to enter the church, things will be bad for sure.
Right.
If they are stopped, then they'll die, and basically they'll live out the rest of their eternity outside the gates of heaven. And she is also being informed that she will be greeted by two prophets who unknowingly are going to lead her to where she needs to go.
Right.
Now these two prophets are also my introduction to the iconic characters of Jay and Silent Bob.
That was your introduction of
absolutely.
Them?
I
totally know them from Clerks.
Obviously. I'd always heard of them, and I've seen them before in various things, or comic books, whatever. I was actually introduced to them in movie form with this movie, and I never forget, like, as she's outside, and then those three fucking hockey kids show up to like pretty much jump her and shit, and they're about to do this wild thing. Obviously, here, snooze to the motherfucking dude. And here comes Jay, and I was like, oh, this is dope. Like, this is so dope. You know what I'm saying? So that was my introduction to Jay and Silent Bob.
That's a solid introduction.
Yes, it is.
I love Jay and Silent Bob and this, and I personally just love the characters of Jay and Silent Bob because they're so raunchy and stupid and horribly written characters, but you can't help but laugh because of how ridiculous. Like, Jay constantly just trying to get laid, and then Bob is just kind of
just going along with it.
He's just along for the ride, but he always winds up like playing the hero. Like, and they may actually wind up being my That Guy Award in this movie.
Yeah, especially Silent Bob. What he does in
like,
the movie.
Like, he just kind of whoops ass in this movie.
Yeah, and then I also love the fact that once they do beat up the hockey kids, they go to that local diner in which he's trying to kind of explain to them, like, I was told I would meet you and you're going to guide me somewhere. He's still thinking they're trying to get some ass at this point. You know what I'm saying? And so he asks a question that asks a question, which I feel like is a logical question to ask. Like, okay, so all right, so we're not fucking, right? Okay. Let's just say, hypothetically, a bomb's geared to go off. We got maybe, I don't know, 3 minutes to live.
Like 5 minutes
Like 5 minutes left to live. Would you fuck us then? And she goes to be highly unlikely in that situation? Yeah, sure. Like, oh, she's a slut.
Right. Like, she's a slut, man.
Love that line. It's such a great line.
That totally plays later on.
It 100% does. Like, a man of his word. Oh my God. So they basically set up this trip to go to Jersey.
Right. And the first thing that happens is that Jay decides to go with this car and basically just keeps saying in first gear the whole time. Of course it's going to melt the transmission. Oh, yeah. Of course it's going to blow it completely up. So the next morning they're just kind of walking along, obviously. And when what did Jay say exactly here? He said something about it's not like it's raining naked men out here.
Yeah, I fell in love with you. We fell in love with you. Gotta look at the father sky, and then out comes a body of a black man slapping on the ground. That black man is Rufus, the angel, played by Chris Rock.
But then afterwards, like Jay was like, it's not like there's no beautiful hot naked ladies dropping out of the sky right now.
He goes, God, there's no father sky, It's crack. Beautiful naked big titty women on father sky, Also, something that a guy would literally ask that question. Chris Rock in this movie, which is probably one of the reasons why I really wanted to check it out, has a line that was in the trailer, but it's a classic line. He goes, when he gets up, he wakes up, he's butt ass naked. He fell from heaven, and he mentions that in fact he does know he knows Christ. And so when she asks him, Christ, you know Christ? Like, no, shit, nigga, owe me $12. I love that line. It's a great line. And it sells the movie. It really does sell the movie for you. And so,
so Rufus is the 13th
the 13th apostle. The one that does not get mentioned.
There were 12, but Rufus is technically the 13th that was there. But because a whole bunch of old white dudes was taking over the course of the writing, the black dude doesn't get his attention.
Rufus is the 13th apostle. 13th apostle left out because he's black.
It's true.
Only Kevin Smith's going to write that.
And Jesus Christ was black also.
Yes. I have also believed that for quite some time. I'll never let that go. But as you're getting to know Rufus, and Rufus is pretty much explaining why he's there to get things correct as far as he needs to be mentioned in the Bible.
Yeah.
While helping out Bethany and Jan Silent Bob with their quest, if you will. The movie that scene gets kind of serious because while he's trying to convince Bethany about what I'm telling you is the truth. No, I'm not an angel. I was once a man like he is, and I once was, except not Jay. Right? And so basically to convince her, I mean what I say. He gives her a memory from her past that she never told nobody about.
Right.
She let a little boy piss in her hand, and
that was her head.
Or it was her head, or whatever. It was somewhere on her body. I know that. That same little boy died 2 years later from leukemia. Right.
Right.
So she is shocked the fact that he knows that story. So as he chases her off, Jay goes, "Yo, tell me something about me." And he goes, "You masturbate more than anybody else on the planet."
He's like, shit. Like
everybody knows that.
Like everybody knows that.
When you do it, you think about guys. Silent Bob goes,
like Silent Bob is just like looks at him like petrified.
He goes, "Do not all the time."
He's like, "No, all the time."
Oh my god.
The scene does get a little bit serious, but then afterwards, like Jay and Silent Bob just kind of like dip and
to a strip club
where they basically see the one and only Salma Hayek.
Before we get to that, this strip club is gross.
It's nasty. Like,
and we're getting Salma Hayek.
It looks like a Dottie's with like a stage.
Yeah, it looks like a Dottie's with a lot of cigarette smoke, and it hasn't had good plumbing in a while.
Oh no! Oh no!
But we get Salma Hayek dancing to "Candy Girl" by New Edition, in all her glory. She looks great.
Oh, absolutely.
She looks great, and she plays Serendipity.
Yeah, she plays the muse of creative inspiration,
yes.
Who is working in a strip club in search of inspiration of her own. She dipped out of heaven and just thought that she could kind of make it on her own.
Now, Ezreal summons the Golgothan, which is lack of a better word, a shit demon.
Right.
Now, this is brought on by a group of black dudes who I'm going to assume are bloods at the strip club. They make cool with Jay and Silent Bob.
Of course.
One guy takes a massive shit, and that shit comes alive.
And I mean, and when we mean alive, we're not talking like a 3 foot, no. This is like a 7 foot tall centaur of shit. Like Jabba the Hutt.
He has
fucking
eyes.
laughing. It has eyes and a smile.
And when he walks, it's just doo-doo melting all over the place. So imagine having to fight that. Like, wait, no. No.
So the Bloods decide to fight him.
They decide to fight him.
And they get killed. They're dead.
By doo-doo at that.
By doo-doo at that point.
He shoots them with doo-doo. Let's put this into perspective. He shoots these Bloods with doo-doo. He shoots out doo-doo like it's a 45.
You can't call yourself gangster if you die.
You die by doo-doo.
If you die by shit.
Yeah, like, here lies T-Ray.
He gets shot by shit,
Yeah, death by doo-doo.
If you literally get shot to shit, you can't call
I'm
yourself
telling you, the cause of death was death by doo-doo.
Get out of Compton.
Yeah. Yo, he fucking died by doo-doo, man. That shit is crazy.
Bob, being the hero of the story, as you come very quickly to find out, pulls out like this anti-odor aerosol air freshener and sprays it into the Golgothan's face as he charges at them, and it basically immobilizes him.
You don't say.
Yeah, you don't say.
It's a shit demon. Now, they're on the train to New Jersey.
Well, before that, we cut back to Bartlemy and Loki.
Right.
And they actually go into a boardroom.
Okay. I didn't want to skip this part. And I'm so glad you brought us up.
Because it's a great scene.
It's a great scene. Set it up. You set it up.
So basically, as they come into a decision to basically start a mass murder spree because hey, they're going to get repented for all their sins, so they might as well have a good old time in the process and have as much fun as let's just go ahead and kill people. And they go into, I want to say it was like a toy boardroom meeting. What I mean by that is that like it was a children's like book or toy.
Mooby the Golden Calf.
Right. That was basically stolen for this boardroom that basically built this entire empire of it's basically a play on Toys R Us in that case.
Right.
And Jay, go ahead and take over.
So at this boardroom meeting for Mooby the Golden Calf, the CEO of this company smells onions in the room.
Right.
And he happens to look to the side and see Barbie and Loki sitting in their boardroom, and Loki's cutting up an onion doll.
Right.
Right. When he asks them, "Why are you in my boardroom? Why are you here?" And then they kind of present the fact why they're here. Bartleby has a great monologue, but he finishes up that monologue by literally naming each sin of everybody in this board meeting.
Their worst
sin.
And there's some
bad stuff. You have a guy
like a dude that traveled to Thailand to have sex with a boy. 11-year-old boy.
You have another one who had his got his girlfriend drunk at a party and paid a kid from the mailroom to have sex with her so she can confess to it in the morning, and then and she killed herself 2 months later because of it.
Right, because he wanted to break up with her.
He wanted to break up with her. Another one disowned his gay son. But the CEO's one was so awful, he couldn't even say it out loud.
Right. He just whispered into the air.
So he breaks down crying because of it. The CEO does. And so as he walks out, Barbie walks out. Loki does this weird thing.
Now, hold on. Before that, Loki sneezes and nobody says anything.
And I'll come back around in a minute too.
Right. So Loki
he sneezes, nobody says nothing because there's only one, good soul in that whole room.
Right.
And that's the lady.
It's a white woman.
It's a white woman.
White women are good for her.
Go figure.
Are good for this world.
Of course. Yeah. So he walks out. Loki walks out. He goes, I don't believe in voodoo, because he did some weird shit with the doll. But it immediately walks right back in with that hammer and goes, I do believe in this. It kills everybody in the room. And
I mean, it's brutal.
It's brutal.
Now, you don't see it, luckily.
But you definitely hear it.
Oh, you hear it. And
you fakes! All of you fakes! So he kills everybody in the room, spares the one with the good soul, and goes, you live a good life, you're good to go. But you didn't say bless you when I sneeze.
You didn't say God bless you
when I sneeze.
When Bartlemy comes in, he goes, hold on, man. Like that's not nearly enough to
kill her. You know what I'm saying?
He's like
you're getting off light.
You getting off light. You getting off light.
Okay.
So going back to the group is on this train to New Jersey, where a drunken Bethany has she's had way too much to drink.
Meets Bartleby.
And actually meets Bartleby. Now, they don't know each other. They don't know each other's mission. They have no reason to discuss. And Bethany kind of devolves into her own personal story. She can't have kids because she got something wrong with her where she couldn't have kids. Her husband left her in this process, and she doesn't know where her own faith basically is at this point. And it's a little bit kind of all over the place. And she's sharing this information to Bartleby, and then she shares the actual plan that they have going on, and Bartleby and Loki kind of like frump up and sober up
realizing who she is
because she's the last scion who is the person who's supposed to be able to stop him at this case. Now, and this is where we kind of get the switch of the characters also, because Bartleby up to this point was just kind of like, he wasn't necessarily the antagonist, but he was like, yeah, this is the plan that we have to do.
He becomes the antagonist.
Well, no. What I mean is that he's kind of antagonizing, or he's just kind of pushing Loki to it, because you get he's a former angel of death, and whatnot, and that's when, and at this point, this is where Bartleby basically snaps. He takes it to a whole nother level. Mad, yeah. Just goes mad with rage in doing so. Silent Bob, who once again plays the hero of the story, throws these angels off the train. And of course the angels don't want to reveal their wings at that point yet, because it's too soon for that. Mm-hmm. But Loki has kind of had a little bit of a change of heart, or at least his mission has kind of changed in this case. He just wants to go home. And this is Matt Damon we're talking about here. And he kind of realizes after having a conversation with Jay and Silent Bob, which we don't actually see the conversation, but he's just cool.
He loves those guys. Right. They're so dope.
He's just like, hey, he's like, oh, this is Barry and Larry, right? He introduces him that way. And he goes to Leonard Florentino. He goes to Bethany. He's like, so you're supposed to sleep with these two, later on. So he's just like, you know what? Why am I so stressed out? He's just like, whatever. I just want to go home.
Right.
Is the whole point of it. After getting thrown off, and they basically exit the train, Loki, who realizes the consequences of his entire scheme, he basically wants no part of actually destroying all of existence. But Bartleby just remains at God. And the reason why he remains angry with God is because he realizes that the angels were the first ones in existence, right? They were the first ones that were created. Mm-hmm. But instead of having the opportunity to actually be these angels of creation, being the first loved thing from creation, instead it was the humans instead. The humans get the perfect life, created in the image of God, and all that. And honestly, I've read stories later on of not from this movie, but other stories where they kind of explore that concept. Really interesting concept if you think about it. I was the first creation. Why am I not loved?
Yeah, it's almost it's made to paint the picture of angels are actually jealous of the human race.
Right, because angels were to demand servitude, were to serve the human beings.
Right.
How all fucked up we all are.
Right.
So I kind of see his point there.
To take the gift of God and basically shit on it.
Right. Now, in the process, Salma Hayek also has a really... here's something I really liked about this movie. Everyone kind of has a moment in each of this entire movie where they all kind of have their soapbox moment of demanding things. And she goes and she says, that's the thing about faith. You just got to have it. It's not a matter of who's right or wrong. It's just a matter of having the faith. Your hearts are in the right place, but your brain's doing too much thinking when it comes to it. And when I heard that, I said, that I can feel, that I can understand as an atheist myself, where I'm just like, yeah, I get it. All right. but where I can't, it's tough for me to convince that this matters when I'm seeing the results of something else happening in the process. Right. Like you can say as an individual, you feel this way, but as a group experiment, human beings are not very good at this whole religion thing. But I kind of get what you're saying there. Bethany then decides to ask, why is she being called upon to save the universe? And the first thing they decided to do is they tried to basically convince the Cardinal, George Carlin again, to basically cancel this revival. This revival of the church.
Well, we do learn, and this kind of goes back to this
Metatron actually comes back.
Metatron comes back, but we do learn that when she asks, why can't God just do this himself? Metatron admits that God's whereabouts are unknown. He disappears while he comes in there. When he came to New Jersey, he disappeared in human form because he likes to play skee ball. God is actually a skee ball fanatic.
Right.
And then we also now learn, even, Bethany is the last scion. She is a distant but a direct blood relative of Jesus Christ.
Right. She is like the niece of Jesus Christ. And the reason why that came into existence, how does that make sense? How is she the niece? Well, Chris Rock kind of explained it perfectly. He goes, it makes no sense for everybody to believe that Mary and Joseph, a married couple, would not have had other children. They were a married couple, married into. Of course, the bloodline's going to continue. Right. It's just a matter that for Jesus's birth, it was a virgin birth. Right. But of course, they're going to have other children. And so she's like the great, like 20 times over great grand niece of Jesus Christ. Right. It's kind of dope.
Deep
and dope.
Yeah, deep as hell. So they do persuade they fail to persuade Glick to cancel the celebration. And of course, Jay steals one of Glick's golf clubs.
Jay steals one of Glick's golf clubs, and that
why not?
Because he's a crazy white boy. That's what we do.
So the only remaining option is to keep the angels out of the church, but Ezra and the triplets trap them in a bar to prevent them from doing so. And Ezra reveals that he sent the news clipping to the angels. He would rather end all existence than spend eternity in hell.
So he would rather end all existence, including himself, than to spend another day in hell.
Well, I've been to hell, but I can tell you, I don't think I would want to do a day in there either.
You've never been to East Vegas?
No, but yes, I have. But if that's version of hell, then fucking keep it. I want no part to that at all. It's too damn hot above here, man.
So after stealing it, and the wanting to spend would rather end all existence than spend eternity. Bob takes said golf club because again, he's really the hero of the story.
I'm a fucking demon.
Dude, I'm a fucking demon. What do you think is going to happen? Takes one good swing and cracks an entire huge hole in Azrael's chest.
To speak on that, even though Ezra he's like that full of war, he goes out kind of like a G. And the reason why I say that is because he talked shit before actually getting the swing. He goes, wait, you're gonna tell him to wait? I'm a fucking demon. You want to have him hit me with a putter? All right, go ahead. So what he does is he walks over to him and go ahead, take a best shot. Wait a minute. Licks his finger and burns the shirt open. That's so G to me. I don't know why I thought it was so cool. Burns the shirt open, opens it up. Go ahead, take a good shot. Takes his shot and it's a damn good shot.
A hole into him. So why? Why did that happen? Because of course the Cardinal would bless his own golf clubs to get a better game. Yeah. Yep. That's pretty much right.
Yep.
The Cardinal, a holy man, blessed his own golf clubs, and that's what killed him.
He needed a good game. Yeah. So they race to the church.
They kill off the other three.
They kill the triplets in holy water.
They basically drown them in the holy water.
They race back to the church where Bartleby has now killed Cardinal Glick and his parishioners and a sort of bystanders. When we see Loki is now wingless. Therefore, he's now officially mortal.
Right. He's officially human at that point.
Mm-hmm. And he's mortal with a conscience. He no longer wants to do this anymore. He goes, he's been doing this shit all day, and I just wanted to go home.
Right.
And this angel of death's telling you, I no longer want to do this shit anymore. You know what I'm saying? And he does attempt to stop him now. But the craziest thing is, we get Bartleby now in full villain. This has to happen.
Like strips off a jacket, and it's this armor, this angelic armor.
And with the wingspan, he's just fully into it.
Ben Affleck playing his full Ben Affleck.
Yeah, and so Loki, the funniest thing was Loki tries to like step in the way of Bartleby, be like, listen, like we can't do this shit no more. And Bartleby takes him out.
And Bartleby's just like, well, now there's two weaknesses I have. One is a conscience, and two, and stabs a knife right into his side. You're mortal. And just takes him out, like straight up. Meanwhile, Jay has decided to go ahead and take up on that 5-minute offer. We're about 5 minutes away from all of existence.
Not only that,
they all cry.
Not only that, Jay literally grabs Bethany, runs to the back of some van, and proceeds to take off his pants. Like, hey, listen, you said all
hell's about to break
loose. The world's gonna end in 5 minutes.
About to
you
end.
said you fuck me.
You said you fuck me. Like
you said you fuck me. Love it.
You gotta love a man of his own conviction.
Yeah, you listen. Like, you made me a promise, and that promise had to be coming to fruition right now.
Regardless of how bad those convictions are, it was still the right move.
He mentions John Doe Jersey, and Bethany finally puts all the clues together as far as who John Doe Jersey is,
right,
and what he means to this existence.
So Bob and her basically race to this hospital, which is like 5 miles away. By the way, they did say this, which is a little weird. As they basically try to block Bartleby's path to the church. Jay, in the one move that he actually does a dumb thing, takes a machine gun that Loki and Bartleby were actually holding on to, and proceeds to shoot at Bartleby. Bartleby ducks, have all of his wings ripped off in the process, which of course makes him mortal, which means that now he can pass through the arch and go home in the exact method that I need to actually do so. Bethany disconnects John's life support, which liberates God, but in the process, it kills her in it. Bartleby, right before he reaches the church entrance, is confronted by God, who's played by none other than Alanis Morissette, who doesn't say a word in here. And basically Metatron, who's standing right next to her, says, I think everybody should now cover your ears. Goes, hugs Bartleby, and screams at the top of her lungs, which explodes his head.
And chest.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Bob arrives carrying Bethany in his arms. Once again, 5 miles out. This real MVP, bro.
Yeah.
God resurrects her and basically conceives a child with her, who is now the new Last Scion.
Yep.
God, Metatron, Rufus, and Serendipity return to heaven, leaving Bethany and the prophets to reflect on the past and ponder what's going to happen in the future.
Cue the Alanis Morissette single "Still."
Yeah,
for the movie. That's Dogma. Before we get into takeaways, I mean, now rewatching it 20 years later, one, does the movie hold up? And then two, how does it resonate with you now?
So, does it hold up? Yes. Because, first of all, the casting is actually pretty rock solid in this. If you think about it, Damon's been nominated for Academy Awards and is probably going to get another nomination for a movie that's coming out. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for Ford versus Ferrari. Ben Affleck has actually won an Academy Award for Best Director for Argo.
His film made won Best Picture.
Right. Chris Rock has stayed relevant. Even though Jay and Silent Bob kind of have gone by the wayside, Kevin Smith has obviously kind of continued on his career. And Jay and Silent Bob actually had a movie released last month.
Jay and Silent Bob reboot?
To drop. Salma Hayek has still kind of stayed in the game, and Alan Rickman would later play one of the most iconic characters in all of film history as Professor Snape before his unfortunate passing a few years ago. This movie really, really holds up in terms of a commentary on faith and faith-based religion and how people can sometimes get that wrong when it really should be about this as opposed to this. Now, it's not perfect by any means. It does get a little silly, but 20 years later, it's still pretty solid.
I agree. I definitely agree.
Anything you want to comment on it?
A movie like this only comes around ever so often, and for it to be as poignant with its ideas. I mean, it ages quite well. This movie is 2 hours and 10 minutes long, and it flows by.
Yeah, it really does.
Like you said, stellar cast, most of whom are very prominent today. As an original concept from Kevin Smith, and really for me, the introduction to Kevin Smith as a filmmaker, I still very much thoroughly enjoy this movie. I love this movie. This is a great movie.
Let's get into some takeaways, man.
Some takeaways. Who's getting your That Guy award?
I'm going to give it to both Jay and Silent Bob. Although I don't really think there's a bad male character in this movie.
Okay.
I think everybody has their moments to shine. From Chris Rock as Rufus is kind of being not necessarily like an inspirational voice, but being as a person that's just like, I'm here for this, this vote. Alan Rickman obviously playing as Metatron and how he's kind of a little bit of the voice of reason and how he had to change the perception of what religion is in that case, in the view of somebody who is, let's remember, an abortion clinic worker, counselor
who's also Catholic.
Mm-hmm. And then of course both Matt Damon and Ben Affleck do a pretty good job in terms of like showing that righteous justice that's supposed to be there. And even George Carlin like throws his own sense of humor into it, and you can really tell that felt very much like that didn't feel scripted at all. Like he just kind of gave the Buddy Christ thing, and they just kind of rolled with it.
The Buddy Christ Career would be my That Guy award,
right?
But that's just whatever.
But Jay and Silent Bob matter in this movie in a different fashion. One, Silent Bob being the hero of this film by basically always being there at the right place at the right time and kicking ass in the right way. And Jay for being a guy that never decided to change at all throughout this movie. And he's not better for it, and he's not worse for it.
He's just a lovable guy.
He's a lovable in a
very weird way. That chick award.
I will give it to Florentino. I do think she is a bit miscasted a little bit. I can definitely feel. I feel that there's a better female character that could be in this role, but I do think the character of Bethany is well written because this is a person that's questioning her own faith, who wishes that things were back the same way. And you know what? Rufus had a really, really, really awesome line talking about how faith kind of works. He goes, when you're a kid, your cup is small, so faith is very easy to kind of pour into it, and you just have this very small little cup.
Right.
So you feel like your faith is filled. But as you get older, the cup gets bigger, but you're still getting that same little amount that you're getting. So your faith starts to dwindle in that case, even though you're getting the same amount. So you need to find your way to overwhelm yourself with it.
Right.
And she definitely does that in this film. For being somebody that was a naysayer to somebody who was figuring stuff out like that and kind of playing her role, she kind of gets her comeuppance, and I really appreciate that.
That full award.
I'm going to give it to the Stygian Devils.
The triplets?
Yeah, because there's no point to them. They're just
the henchmen.
They're just a henchman. I can't even blame Azrael for his plan, because if he thinks that hell is that bad that he just doesn't want to exist anymore, that's bad. That's bad. So it was a rock solid plan up until the point that he got cocky. But the Devils, they didn't really have a point to the film. They were just the bullies. And if you're going to make bullies, why children? Like, why?
Why not children bullies?
No.
Children devils.
No, because if they would have had that as three actual hockey players, then would Jay and Silent Bob have been able to fight them off in that first attack?
True. Very true.
So it's just weird.
Cut that out.
This is a tough one. Probably, I wouldn't necessarily cut anything out, because even like the most, you know what? I would cut out a little bit of that intro to Bartholomew and Loki, where they're kind of like guessing what said and said person did and said and said person did that. Yeah. That was okay. Like that could have been shortened a little bit to kind of get the story moving along a little bit. That's pretty much it.
Iconic scene.
Again, a tough one. I kind of have to say the boardroom meeting. The boardroom meeting does absolutely nothing to move this story forward.
Right.
It's just a scene to kind of show how righteous justice actually looks like. Because if you think about it, if you were to know the sins of everybody, and you were to learn the worst sin that everybody ever did, because that's what we all hold, right? That's our own skeletons in the closet.
Right.
How would you judge that person afterwards? Would you judge it based upon the person's worst sin? Would you judge them based upon their worst day of their life? Or would you judge them based upon the best day of their life? Or would you not judge them at all?
And is that judgment punishable by death?
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
And that is the point of this scene. The point is to say, imagine if you were to learn the worst thing about that person, how would you view that person in that light? And how would you react to that person? What if they did something that was purely unforgivable? Would you still judge that person based upon that one action? Or would you judge it based upon the life of their actions? If you found out somebody as a teenager killed someone on accident, or maybe in an act of rage, but that was the worst thing that you heard about that person, and now they're a 40-year-old man. Here's a good example. Danny Trejo, right? Danny Trejo, when he was a kid, basically smoked weed all the time and wound up going to prison for selling a shitload of drugs.
Right.
And went to prison for like 6 or 7 years.
San Quentin.
Yeah, in San Quentin. In San Quentin, which is not an easy place to go to. Now he's been sober for 40 years. How do you judge the person? Do you judge him for the 7 years that he had to spend in prison and the years before that, or do you judge him for the 40 years of sobriety afterwards?
Yeah, especially he's already paid his debt to society. So all right,
so now take every single person's worst sin, and you can see why everybody wants to be absolved by them.
Right.
That's my iconic scene. My guy, Jay Alonso, who's getting your That Guy Award?
That Guy Award is going to go to... I'm going to give it to Rufus. And the reason why I'm going to give it to Rufus because...
it's a black man. Because you always give it to the black man.
Man. No, actually, you know what? No, I'm going to give it to Barbie and Loki. And the reason why is because...
Ooh, interesting.
They actually command the screen when they are on screen.
That I 100% agree.
Oftentimes, when you watch this movie... And because you're pretty much, as far as, they're the angels. So when you get them on screen, and we think about it, they don't have a lot of screen time either. When you do get them together and then doing what they're doing, like, I really want to see more of Barbie and Loki. Actually.
Right.
Let you see what,
The Adventures of Bartleby and
Loki. Yeah, now knowing what they know about how to get back into heaven is like, all right, so what are you gonna do now that you have this kind of this now declared freedom before you go back home? So yeah, you can't take your eyes off them. You really want to see what they do next. So Barbie and Loki.
Fair enough. That Chick Award.
That Chick Award is going to go to. I guess I can go and give it to Fiorentina because she is our hero for sure. And she does have a comeuppance and. Somebody with very little faith finds her faith restored, and she risks time to make the wrong right, and you kind of run with her the whole time.
That full award.
Oh man, that full award will probably go to the shit demon. No, it'll go to.
Why? He's just carrying out orders.
Yeah,
it'd probably go to the Bloods trying to fight the shit demon without lighting him up. They came up. Who goes to? Why do you fist fight a shit demon?
I don't know, but the shit demon's gonna be in there somewhere. I don't know how, but the full award I'm gonna go ahead and give it to Azrael, only because he does watch his plan unfold, and he really would go through all this, including sacrificing himself, which defeats the whole fucking purpose to begin with. But to do this as opposed to spending another day in hell. Even killing it, well, you might as well just offer yourself if you can. But then again, if the cardinal law is true, then you go back to fucking hell anyway. So it doesn't really matter. But you kind of have this idea that either A, you didn't see all the way through, or B, it's just too far fetched to really be successful.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
By the way, I said this was the Jesus trilogy. I read that way off. It's the Jersey trilogy.
The Jersey trilogy.
Yeah,
yes.
Thank you. Sorry. And cut that out.
The shit demon. Though it's a great scene, it's a funny scene. It's the only time in this movie where this just gets fucking silly. This is just fucking silly. Like, I can deal with Azrael and the horns coming out and how he just has his love for Central Air because it's so hot in hell. Even the three skaters, I could deal with them as well. But things that kind of stick to the point of the story. Once we got the shit demon, I'm like, all right, though funny, has nothing to do with nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the fact that you have these blood gang members who feel like, you know what, I'm gonna take on this big old piece of shit and I'm gonna die at the hands of doo-doo. Like, nah, I'm cool. I'm good on that one. So yeah, it'll be the shit demon scene.
And iconic scene.
Iconic scene.
The shit demon.
No, I'm gonna struggle with this one because my iconic scene was gonna be the boardroom scene.
So take it.
No. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you because the thing about this movie that will always stick with me, and it's boiled down to a simple image, and that is merely the Buddy Christ. The revealing of the Buddy Christ puts this movie in such a tone to where, all right, this is gonna be wild.
You cannot tell me that this movie does that image is worse than the crucifixion. I'm sorry. I feel so much better as
I'm not going to lie to you. If the Catholic
Christ.
Church literally said we're going to retire this particular image of Jesus Christ and replace it with the Buddy Christ, I'm like, well, let's hear it out. Let's hear it out.
Let's go.
What's the actual plans here with the Buddy? Because yeah, that's sad, but that's how you know Jesus Christ. But this Buddy, I would put it in my living room. That's so nice. I like that. So yeah, Buddy Christ, most definitely. Let's get to some quick hits here if we can wrap this puppy up. Jason Mewes had the entire script memorized before rehearsals. When asked why, he said it was because he didn't want to anger Alan Rickman, and because Kevin Smith took him aside before rehearsals began and said he needed to be on his best behavior and bring his A game to the set, which Mewes did.
Good for him.
When you work with Alan Rickman, man, you got don't just come with the bullshit now. Like for those of us who know Alan Rickman, that's Hans fucking Gruber.
Right.
That's
Snape.
Snape. I mean, hell, what's the character from Galaxy Quest?
Oh God.
But anyway, that's how you know Alan Rickman. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, I would probably be on the same thing. Like, dude, I can't fuck this up. This is Alan Rickman. I can't just fuck this up. Rest in peace to Alan Rickman too. When they heard Alan Rickman was a Chasing Amy fan, Kevin Smith and Scott Mosier felt confident enough to ask him to play Metatron. He read the script and came back with only 2 questions. Question 1, would we stay faithful to the script? And question 2, are the wings real or CGI? Rickman's dope. According to Kevin Smith on his DVD commentary, Linda Fiorentino was very difficult to work with. And on some days, in fact, wasn't even speaking to him. In retrospect, Smith says he wishes he offered the role to Janeane Garofalo instead.
Probably would have been much better. Janeane Garofalo is in this movie very briefly, but yeah, I kind of prefer that.
You're kind of curious as to where we would have went had Janeane took the role instead of.
It would have been a little bit snarkier for sure,
most definitely.
But it would have, I don't know. Fiorentino was always limited as an actor.
Due to the controversy of the film, Disney was having doubts about releasing the film, at which point Miramax Harvey Weinstein personally brought the project from Miramax and sent it to Lionsgate Films.
And it's because of Harvey Weinstein why you can't stream this out there. That's per Kevin Smith.
Fucker. Kevin Smith originally wanted Danny Elfman to compose the score for the film, but he wasn't unavailable. And last but not least, Bill Murray, John Travolta, and Adam Sandler were all considered for the role of Azrael. Adam Sandler turned down the role to work on Big Daddy.
Okay.
I mean, not a bad choice to work on, you know?
I mean, I know why they gave it to Jason Lee. They worked with him so often.
Oh, he's in the View Askew universe. Like he's been in a few projects.
Chasing Amy, Jane Silent Bob,
Clerks,
Strike Back.
I believe he was in.
Very briefly in Clerks.
Yeah, he's in Clerks. I don't believe he's in Zack and Miri. No, I don't think so.
No, but Jason Mewes is in it.
Yes, and if you haven't seen Zack and Miri make a porno,
that is such an underrated comedy.
I love that damn movie. Okay, but with that being said, that's Dogma, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a good one.
It's enjoyable.
Yes. We're gonna get all our faith stuff out the way today.
Yeah,
we'll be back next week.
I went to church today.
Yeah. Let people know where they can find you, man.
You know, it's fine, Lane. Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook under David Danger Neff. I'm the co-host here at Back to the Classics, as well as getting to drop my own shit.
Which you wouldn't say today.
Which I ain't going to say today because I ain't trying to steal no thunder. But yeah, so you can always catch me on there. I do have tactically a Twitch, which I'm going to turn that into the official Beat Network Twitch, so I can get these dudes to play video games, and because they're just going to play like NBA Live or Final Fantasy
or 2K
or 2K.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to keep it pretty simple.
Yeah, unfortunate, but that's okay.
That's all right.
But yeah, you can always find me on there. You can catch us at the Level Up Expo in February. I believe the dates is February 21st through the 23rd.
Yes.
We do have other things to announce, but I'm going to kind of keep that under the wraps until I get the go ahead on that. My guy Jay Alonso.
You can find me on all the social media simply at I am Jay Alonso. You talk to me, I talk back. That's Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. Of course, the Back to Classics Movie Talk page on Facebook is up and popping. Go ahead, join in and join that conversation. There's been a lot of talk about that second trailer for Bad Boys for Life, which I thought was interesting.
It was okay.
It's better than the first one. I'll tell you that much.
He still look frumpy.
It looks like Bad Boys meets Big Mama's House for sure. But we will, whatever. And don't forget, Spoiling the Classics, another Back to the Classics spoiler talk page is up and popping, ran by David Neff on most days. Yeah, you'll get back to that eventually.
Yeah, eventually.
With that being said, don't forget, Turn My Mic Up drops on Black Friday. That's the new hip-hop show with Beat Network. Can't wait for you guys to check that out. And we will be back next week. We're doing another 2-header for next week.
Yeah.
We're really cranking these shits up.
I mean, we need to catch up.
We do. only for the Cine folks, you'll catch it doing 2 shows a week. At least until we're all
only for you guys.
Only for you guys. With that being said, thank you guys so much. Shout out to the whole Beat Network crew. This is Back to the Classics. See y'all next week. I am Jay Alonso. With me, as always, is
Danger Neff.
See y'all next week, guys. Peace.
Peace.